Hello, Chef Andy here over at Amelia's restaurant. Today we're going to feature some very nice large New Zealand lamb shanks. I have here about 10 lamb shanks. You might notice there's a little bit of ink color on this one right here, and you'll see that. That just proves that it's been inspected by the USDA. Nothing wrong with it. They'll be perfect. What I'm going to do is hit these with some blended oil and a little bit of salt and pepper. And then we're going to get these braising in the oven. Braising is a combination cooking technique where we use dry heat first, followed by moist cooking. The dry step in this cooking process is we're going to sear off the lamb shanks. The difference between dry and moist is just the presence of water. The fact that I'm using some oil here does not turn my dry searing off into a moist cooking technique. So we have it with some salt and a little bit of white pepper. White pepper goes a long way. You don't necessarily need that much of it. I'll give these a quick flip over here so that they're all coated. Okay, we don't want to use too much oil because these lamb shanks are going to give off a lot of their own fat, just enough so that they don't stick to the pan. From here we're going to go straight into the oven, about 450 degrees for about 20 minutes till they start to get some nice color, and we'll take a look at them. Right now we're about 10 minutes into the lamb shanks. You can see that they're starting to sweat off a little bit more oil than I initially had started them with. But they haven't yet developed really any color yet. So we're going to go ahead and put them back in the oven for a little bit, check on them in a few. Next we're going to chop up some vegetables in preparation for cooking the lamb shanks. What I have here is a carrot that's already been peeled. And we're just going to use our knife right here, kind of do small rounds. What we're doing is we're adding classical French mirepoix, which is carrots, onions, and celery, to our lamb shanks. These are going to help develop the flavor in the lamb shank and in the eventual sauce, which is going to be made from the braising liquid. I'm going to add this to some onions and celery and some more carrots that I did earlier. You can see that we're starting to get some nice golden color around the outside, especially on some of these. What we're going to do, really carefully, is add all the vegetables right on top. So next step, what we're going to do here is just let these kind of roast like this. I'm going to add just a little bit more oil so that the vegetables don't burn. We'll go ahead and throw this back in the oven and check on it in about 20 minutes. It's been about 40 minutes. We're going to go ahead, since we originally started the lamb shanks, added the vegetables about 20 minutes in. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the lamb shanks real quick here. Pull them out of the oven. Oh my god, they smell great. Okay, as you can see, there's some very nice caramelization, color development on the shanks themselves, also on the vegetables. You can see in the back, they've started to roast quite a bit. What I'm going to do now is hit the pan with a little bit of white wine. Turn on a couple of these burners here. What this is going to do is essentially deglaze the bottom of the pan. Now what I'm doing is, while this is searing off, there's little bits of lamb that are kind of coming loose and sticking to the bottom of the pan. What this is going to do is release those, they're called soups, from the bottom of the pan. And they are the most essential part of the flavor in the sauce. So you can see here's one of them, what it kind of looks like. They look like little pieces of ground off lamb parts. And the combination of the alcohol and the heat underneath kind of loosens up everything that's at the bottom of the pan and allows it to come off the bottom of the pan with just a simple scrape of the tongs and moving some of these shanks around a little bit. Our next step, what we're going to do is just fill up the pan until the shanks are about halfway up with moisture. What we have here is some of our house-made chicken stock. I'm just going to add it in. so that the liquid is about halfway up the shanks, maybe a little bit more. You don't want to completely cover, because then essentially what you're doing is boiling the lamb shanks. Everyone's had boiled meat, probably growing up, and it's not that great. Braising, which is kind of a low simmer where the liquid is only halfway up the meat, it's going to essentially steam up rather than boil. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw this back in the oven for about another 15 minutes, finish caramelizing it, and then cover it, turn the oven down way low, and let it go for about 2 hours. We've had our lamb shanks going in the slow roasting part of the braise for about 2 hours now. We put some foil over it to keep it nice and moist, keep the moisture inside the pan. And I just smelled the lamb shanks. They smell like they're ready to come out of the oven. Remove the foil, be very careful because the steam is actually a lot hotter than the liquid that's inside of it. You just want to grab a kind of a little corner, pull it up and away from you, and go ahead and take off the rest of the foil. Look at these beautiful, beautiful lamb shanks. And you can tell that they're done because this meat is kind of flaking right off the bone, just like pulled pork would, or another braised tough cut of meat that's been cooked for a long period of time. What I'm going to do now is get the lamb shanks out of the braising liquid so that we can continue to make the sauce for them. Take them out here one at a time. Just put them very carefully, grabbing them kind of at the right spots, because if you grab them, if you're not clamping it, this is going to fall right. You can see it's going to fall right off. So. We're going to just kind of keep them all together, grab them so that they stay whole. See, they got beautiful color to them, they smell delicious, and we got to get these out so that we can strain this sauce a little bit and get all of the fat that's been released. Now you might remember when we started the lamb shanks that the meat came all the way pretty much up to the bone, up to the end of the bone here, and what's happened in the cooking process is the lamb shanks have essentially Frenched themselves right off the bone and have created a nice clean bone right here, and all the fat that was on there has wound up in our sauce. So what we're going to have to do is take out the rest of the lamb shanks and finish defatting the sauce, and then we'll plate up the lamb shanks.